some football. I haven't talked a lot of football lately. Training camp is right around the corner. And first we'll go to Anthony.
Yeah, guys, and as you all know, I love sports. I love them so much, I never want them to stop.
Never.
But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want, and all I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. All you have to do is head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS to start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
All right, let's talk. All right, let's talk about. I thought we were doing this. What happened? Did we change something on here?
Yeah, we're doing the Playmaker ranking.
I was like, I don't remember this topic in our discussion.
I did send the update this morning.
Yeah. I'm just seeing it now. Okay, so ESPN. Well, Bill Barnwell of ESPN.
Bill Barnwell, correct.
Bill Barnwell of ESPN every year does his quarterback tiers. We haven't seen that yet.
Not yet. Nope.
He's the guy that quarterback tiers, or is that Mike Sando?
They both do it.
Tiers? Anyway, he ranked each team based on their playmakers. Playmakers, of course, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. And he had the Browns at 20, which is interesting. Mike gave me the whole list on the phone on the way here.
I did text you and ask if you could have the ESPN Plus thing last night.
Yes, he did, and I forgot. I forgot to bring it up. But we have some of the list here. Let's look at the Browns are 20th, and I'm sure our fans are. First of all, these lists are fun. People get apoplectic over these lists. It's crazy to
care
react.
So much.
It's one man's opinion. It doesn't affect how good the Browns are, and it's fine.
Ready to put that disclaimer.
And again, he's more likely to be unbiased than you are as a fan of the Browns or the Bengals or the Raiders or the Chiefs or whatever team is your team. But anyway, let's see the top of the list there, Anthony. The Niners, number 1, guys. Eagles, Dolphins, Texans, and Vikings. Let's start with this top 5. Remember, the Browns are 20th.
And this is just running back,
wide receiver, tight end. No quarterback, has nothing to do with it. So, what do we think here, guys? So, the 49ers.
Oh, Philly should be first.
Over
San Fran.
I don't know. I think the top 4 is the right top 4 in whatever order you want to put them.
I think Philly should be 1. Saquon, Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, but McCaffrey's better than Saquon.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I like.
So you got Ayuk and Debo against A.J. Brown and
Devontae Smith.
I take the Eagles on that.
I would take the Eagles on that one too. Not by a lot, though.
No, not by a lot.
I'll take Kittle over Goddard.
Kittle over Goddard, yes.
And Christian McCaffrey over Saquon.
Right, but again, not huge gaps in either of those.
No, but it's 1 and 2. I think.
What about the rest of the wide receiving group? Like the 3rd and 4th wide receivers.
Oh, Paris Campbell play for Philadelphia. Go Bucks.
Well, he hasn't done anything. I don't know. Who's the Niners' 3rd receiver? I can't even think of it right now.
Oh, is it Juwan Jennings?
Juwan Jennings.
Didn't they draft somebody in the middle?
They just drafted Alec Pearsall.
Yeah.
Ricky Pearsall out of Florida.
I listen, you're splitting hairs between the Eagles and Niners. It's pretty close.
I'll take it either way. You know what? I'm a former Niner. Keep it the way it is.
All right. So the Dolphins 3. They don't have who's their tight end, the Dolphins? That's why
they signed Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, he's okay, but he's not as good as either of their tight
ends. Still a good pickup though.
What's his name? The running back last year. A-Chain.
He's incredible.
He looked amazing, but he was hurt the whole year. Right. So that was his MO in college.
And Mostert's good.
Mostert's good, but eventually he's got to fall off a cliff. No,
you would think so.
That's my boy.
He's been amazing.
But
that guy.
To have him at 3 feels like around the right area. We could argue 1 or 2, but
the Texans are low. The Texans got the best wide receiving core in the league.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you assume Tank Dell's back at full health.
Tank, Nico, and Stephon Diggs.
Who's their tight end?
Brevin Jordan and Dalton Schultz.
Oh, Dalton Schultz is a good player.
Is good.
Joe Mixon.
And they got Cade Stover. Go Bucks.
Well, but that has nothing to do with this.
He's a tight end.
He's their 3rd tight end.
I was thinking a kicker. That was Matt Stover.
Go Bucks.
Matt Stover, yeah.
Joe Mixon, obviously, that's the worst running back situation in the top 4, which is probably why they're 4th.
They're 4th, yeah. I think Minnesota is top 10. I'm not sure they're number 5.
Well, I mean, listen, Justin Jefferson accounts for a lot because he's the best receiver.
And Jordan
Addison. T.J. Hawkinson.
Jordan Addison's a good player. Hawkinson's good, but he's coming off injury.
And
I don't know if he's going to be ready.
And Aaron Jones is a little older.
I like Aaron Jones. I think he's always been underrated, and he's better than Joe Mixon.
Yeah. I'd have the Lions at 5, for the record.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporta,
Yeah.
Jamison Williams,
Jameer Gibbs and David
Jameer
Montgomery.
Gibbs.
Now, the reason the Lions are probably not higher is because their wide receivers outside of Amon-Ra are questionable. Jamison Williams so far has been a disappointment in the NFL.
correct.
Josh Reynolds is solid, but
Yeah,
not great.
they don't have a really good second receiver, at least not proven. Now, Amon-Ra is the most underrated wide receiver in the league. Sam Laporta, I would take Sam Laporta over any of those tight ends, including Kittle. Just from a playmaking standpoint,
Yeah.
Kittle's probably a better blocker. But
And their running back tandem is
their
as good
running
as you
back
get.
tandem's is as good as any. But I'm with you, Mike. I'd probably have the Lions 5 ahead of the Vikings.
And for
okay
the
with
record,
that.
Barnwell has them 6th. So
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I think the Lions. Yeah, I mean the Vikings have the better wide receiver 1 as good as Amon. But the Lions are better at tight
Everywhere
end
else,
and
yeah.
running back.
let's see 6 through 10 now. Let's go to the next.
Okay, so the Lions 6.
The Lions are 7.
Oh, the Lions are 7. So the Bears, who's their running back? They signed
DeAndre
Swift.
Oh yeah, I'm not a huge DeAndre Swift guy. He had a good year last year.
I
don't love him.
I had him on my fantasy team, and he was just.
I think they're a little too high because you're banking on Rome Odunze as
Now-
their 3rd receiver.
Right.
Now their 1 and
but
2 are terrific. DJ
Yes.
Moore and Keenan Allen.
That's a great 1-2
That's
punch.
more-
But Cole Kmet's not on the same.
But but Cole Kmet.
He's solid.
Man is
Solid.
good.
But I would have put him over the Lions. Is my point. I wouldn't have. Him over the
I
Lions.
don't think I think I would keep him. I keep him.
I
safe.
would have the Lions and the Bears ahead of the Vikings for me. But whatever, it's 5, 6, 7.
yeah.
Seattle's skill position talent's underrated.
Who's their tight end?
They don't have a good tight end.
Will Disley. Right?
Yeah, but that's
he's
not
not
moving the needle.
really good.
But I do like Kenneth Walker and their receivers.
Yeah. And even that second running back they have, it was a rookie last year.
Charbonneau.
yeah,
Or
Charbonnet.
Yeah,
Charbonnet.
he looked pretty good. And their receivers and what's his name?
JSN.
Jack Smith the Jigba.
Tyler
looked
Lockett.
he
Go
was-
Bucks!
He was coming on at the end of the year.
Go Bucks!
They were at 8. The Rams. The Rams, obviously, what's his name? The running back.
Puka.
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams had a big year, and they drafted Blake from Michigan.
Blake Corum.
Higbee's their tight end.
Higbee's a decent
Solid.
tight end.
Puka and Cooper.
I don't know why. I would have the Bengals ahead of the Rams and the Falcons.
Bengals are 11, just a heads up.
Yeah. What about you,
Bengals
Tyvis?
Ahead of the Rams and the Falcons.
I mean, they got better. The Bengals have better wide receivers than both those teams.
Yes.
And
Tight end and running back, no.
well, I mean, the Bengals tight end situation isn't great, but neither is the Rams.
Higbee?
But Kyron Williams is definitely better than
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss.
Yes.
Yes, it's a combination of Zach Moss and Chase Brown.
Well, Kyron's better than the combination and or one or the other.
Yeah.
And Blake,
That's fair.
if you want to go 2, then Blake Corum might be just as good as those
Right,
guys.
but I
too.
think the Bengals have a big edge at wide receiver over the Rams. I know Puka Nacua was great, and we'll see if he can follow it up.
Oh, man.
I don't think there's a big edge at tight end. I just don't think
Nice.
Higbee's very good.
So that's the
He's
top
not,
10.
it's not like he just
Yeah.
a big gap in between
Right,
at all.
I think Gesicki playing with Joe Burrow is probably as good as Higbee. We'll see,
I
but
feel like Gesicki ain't been that good.
He hasn't been that
couple
good.
of
No.
years.
He hasn't been
Since like his last couple
So
years in
that's the top 10.
yeah.
Now let's
Okay.
go to the AFC. Let's go to the rankings. We're around the Browns because the Browns are at 20. These are the
Right.
teams that flank the Browns. You have the Cowboys
So
at 18.
can you make an argument for the Browns ahead of any of the top 10 teams? I don't think so.
No.
Right?
So here's
Depending on, well,
I had 8 teams that are definitely ahead of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Then I had a tier where I said they're probably ahead of Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then I made my own tiers. You could rank these in really any order you want.
Yeah.
Same tier. So I had the Browns anywhere between 13 and 17. So I think they're a little low on this
Okay,
list.
well, I kind of want to see 10 to 17 or 11 to 17.
I'll read them
Can't
to
see
you.
that,
Ready?
right? Yeah.
11's the Bengals.
Okay, the Bengals are ahead of the Browns.
I agree.
Yeah.
12's the Jets.
So
Garrett Wilson.
the Jets have an edge at running back.
Yes. Oh, you talking about over the Browns?
Yes.
Well,
I'm taking a healthy Brees Hall over
Yes.
Nick Chubb right now.
yes.
It's going to take some time, and Nick Chubb's not going to be perfect week 1.
Well, I mean, Brees Hall is like the perfect. He's the ideal running back. He can run the ball and he can.
Brees
catch.
Hall's really good,
So
Yeah.
A lot of how you view the Browns in this exercise is what
Yeah.
you think of Nick Chubb's health.
I just don't think you can consider Nick Chubb elite at the moment, coming off injury. And he might prove us wrong, but it's very hard to be great coming off this kind of injury right away. So,
tight end. Who is they tight end?
Isn't it Uzama? CJ?
Is he still
No, they
there?
cut him.
Tyler Conklin?
Yeah, they don't have a good. The Browns have the edge at tight end. Now,
Big edge at tight end.
wide receiver.
Garrett
You got
Wilson,
Amari
Mike-
Cooper and Garrett Wilson.
And then Mike Williams versus Jerry Jeudy.
It's close.
It is pretty close.
I'd take Garrett Wilson over Amari Cooper because
of
he's
age.
younger, but right
Go
now,
Bucks!
right now, this moment in time, they're neck and neck.
I had the Jets in the same tier as the Browns, by the way, for
Yeah.
the record. So I think that's in the same tier.
I think it's. They have the Jets ranked 12th.
12th and the Browns at
That's
20.
high.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
That's a lot
The
high.
Jets are better than the Browns skill position wise. On paper, right now, based on the information we have, you'd go with the Jets, but not by a lot.
13 Buccaneers.
Okay, so you got Godwin and Evans. That's an edge Buccaneers over the Browns.
They got a tight end at Auden.
Caden Ott.
Yeah.
Njoku's better.
Oh,
than
then
Chubb.
Njoku's way
Njoku's
better
better.
than him.
And
then
it depends on how you look at
Richard-
Chubb versus
Richard
Rashard.
I
White.
think Bill Barnwell. I didn't read it.
No, Bill Barnwell mentions he's like, I can't have confidence in Nick Chubb until
That's
I
it.
see him.
If it was Nick Chubb not coming off injury, the Browns would be 11, 12, 13, something like that. And maybe you split the difference. Maybe they
Which is why I
they shouldn't
had
be
him
that
in the-
high because you can't assume he's going to be completely healthy. But they probably. I mean,
Rashad White.
the Buccaneers have a decent edge at wide receiver over the Browns. I mean, Chris Godwin's way better than Jerry Jeudy.
Godwin's arguably one of the 2 or 3 best wide receiver 2s in football.
Yeah, and Mike Evans. As much as I love Amari Cooper, Mike Evans is better.
Hey.
He is.
Hey.
Now, I don't love their running back. What's his name?
Rashard White.
Rashad White. I mean, he's not that great. I think it's close. I think the Browns are close with that
The
team.
Chiefs are at 14.
That's absurd.
Why?
Is it?
Kelsey.
You're saying the Browns are better than the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Kelsey is a huge edge because
Okay. Okay.
he's the best tight end.
All right, now go ahead. Now tell me the rest.
All right, running back, they're better, the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco's become a really good back.
It all
So
comes
a
back
healthy.
to what you
So
believe in
wait a
Nick
minute.
Chubb.
Wait a minute. So if Nick Chubb is healthy, you taking Pacheco?
Absolutely not.
All right.
But I can only go based on the info. And right now, I can't say that most running backs coming off the injury he had are not good the first year. Isn't that true?
You the same one that sat here and said Nick Chubb is the
Adrian
closest
Peterson.
thing to Adrian Peterson
I
we've
know
ever
that.
seen.
And-
So I got my money on Nick Chubb.
I
But
do.
now when it's time to talk about this, it's no running back we've ever seen is coming close. Oh, it's good their first year off the injury.
Yes.
That's absurd to
But
me.
that's true, except for Peterson.
So why can't he be like
Well,
Peterson?
the concern is that Peterson tore his ACL, and Nick Chubb had multiple tears in his knee. That's part of it.
What did Peterson came back off the
Had a
ACL
great
and,
year.
and did he lead
Yeah, I think
the
he had
league?
his best year.
I think it was his second best.
But
year.
that's rare. Now, I think it's possible.
I don't think he doing that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if he's ready week 1, I could see him getting 1,000.
The Chiefs receivers, Rashee Rice. I mean,
Xavier Worthy.
Is he all?
No.
Is Rasheed?
I'm with you. As much as I like Isaiah Pacheco, I would have the Browns ahead of the Chiefs.
I would too. By the way. I would too. I put them in the same tier, but I would.
Yeah.
15, the Ravens.
Okay.
Mark Andrews,
That's a big edge.
Zay Flowers,
And you got to go with Derrick Henry.
and Derrick Henry, and
Now-
Rashard Bateman.
Now, the Browns have the edge at wide receiver. Because
Rashad
Amari's
Bateman
better than
is
Zay
the-
Flowers.
Yes.
And they're, as much as I'm questionable on Jerry Jeudy, he's better,
Better than Rashad Bateman and
Bateman.
Nelson Aguilar.
The problem is Nick Chubb and Henry.
That's
Yeah.
it all comes back to how healthy.
I would still have I would have the Browns ahead of the Ravens.
Really?
I would, yeah.
16 Jaguars.
So they got Gabe Davis.
They lost Ridley, right?
They lost
Ridley,
Ridley.
but they got Gabe Davis,
And
Christian
Kirk,
Christian Kirk.
the tight Evan Ingram.
and Travis Etienne.
That's pretty darn good. I can't lie about that. That's pretty good. Depending on what Gabe Davis do.
I
I take the Browns.
I would take the Browns also. I don't like their wide receiver. Christian Kirk, good, but he's not better than Amari Cooper.
And Gabe Davis is so inconsistent.
Yeah, I don't know.
Totally
That's
inconsistent.
depends on what you get from
I
Gabe.
think Travis Etienne's one of the more overrated backs in the league.
Really?
I think he's overrated. He puts up good numbers because they give him the ball a lot. He's not very
His
efficient.
efficiency is not very high.
No.
Yeah.
Wow. I never
So
heard
I don't
that
think
before.
he's great. I like Evan Ingram. I think he's a little better than Njoku, but not by much. He's just been more consistent than Njoku.
What I think they feature him
Yeah.
more than.
But it's close. They're neck.
It's-
I would put. So
To be honest with you, if this offense features Njoku like the Jaguars do Evan Ingram, then Njoku would have crazy.
he's got to prove it though, because Ingram's proven it for more.
I agree
years.
with that statement,
But it's
too.
close. I would still. That's 3 teams I'd have the Browns over.
17 Packers. They lost Aaron Jones, so A.J. Dillon. No, they have Josh Jacobs, excuse me. Josh Jacobs,
Yeah,
their running back.
That's an edge for Green Bay.
Luke Musgrave is their starting tight end. Definitely an edge
Nice
for
young
Cleveland.
player.
But Njoku's better.
You go with Njoku.
And
And then they have the trio of receivers,
Christian
Reed,
Watts, Reed, and
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs, Christian Watkins, and Jaden Reed.
I'd go with the Browns.
I would too.
I'd have the Browns ahead of the Packers.
18 Cowboys. They have no running back.
Zeke is their starter.
Yeah, so
Go Bucks!
so even if that the Browns running back room gets the edge over
Yeah,
whatever
I
they have.
don't see it. I don't like outside of
what
CeeDee
you
Lamb.
mean?
I don't like their skill position.
Wait,
at all.
so Zeke can't have a relapse?
A relapse.
Relapse?
Yeah, till year 1 or 3.
Would you call that a relapse?
be a relapse.
Yeah, relapse is not.
That's like a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, he relapsed to being like a top runner.
Like rebirth.
Whatever you want, however you want to say it.
Relapse is like when you get
go
off
back
drugs and
and
then
go
start
back.
taking drugs again.
Well,
The only edge the Cowboys have is at
CeeDee
wide
Lamb.
receiver 1.
Yeah.
Because CeeDee Lamb's a top
who is their
5
2
receiver.
receiver though? Because they don't got
Brandon Cooks.
Oh, Brandon Cook's still there.
That's true. He's better than
Judy?
Jerry Judy.
But I take running back, and Ferguson's a good player, but I like Njoku better.
I would have the Browns ahead
I'd
of the
take the
Cowboys.
Browns over.
And
the
then
Cowboys.
19, Tennessee, who on paper has good weapons. Just how much do you like some of these guys? They got Pollard at running back, their receiver trio, Boyd, Hopkins, and Calvin Ridley, and their tight end is Ogundizibe, if I'm pronouncing that
I
correctly.
doubt you're pronouncing that correctly. But
I don't think so.
yeah,
They got Hopkins and Ridley.
I mean, their wide receiving core is pretty sweet.
And Traylon Burks and Tyler Boyd. It's a good receiving core.
Tony Pollard was a huge bust last year.
They just
Yeah.
they just signed Jamal Adams today. The Titans.
Oh, did they?
They did while we were on there, yeah.
I mean, so the Browns, based on us, should be probably 14-15, right?
Depends on like I said, I had him in between
all
that
about
13 to
Nick
15
Chubb.
range. Just
Who was 12 through 15 again?
Jets were 12,
They're
Bucks were
behind.
13, Chiefs 14, Ravens 15. Do you have them above anyone in the top 10? Like the Falcons?
No.
Falcons?
No.
Seahawks? Rams?
No.
No. So you have them at 13,
I think 13, right after the Jets.
The Jets.
I got them right after the Jets.
which is right in the range I had. We could argue.
Right. So I have them
Specifics, 1 or 2.
13.
I had them, like I said, between 12 and 15. Was
So
my
they,
range,
in my opinion, they were too low at 20. Yeah.
Ty, do you agree?
I have them 13.
Are they top 10? Is the question?
No.
Would you put them top 10?
No.
Okay. But I think we'll agree. They're
If
slotted a little
Nick
too
Chubb,
low.
if Nick Chubb was healthy and I had a bona fide, solidified number 2 wide receiver, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're at the midway point of the season and Jerry Jeudy looks like the player
Yeah,
that the
then they
Broncos
will-
drafted
they
and
jump.
Nick Chubb's healthy, they could be top 10. Yes,
Let me ask
bottom-
you guys this
bottom
last
of the
question,
top
then we
10.
can move on. If you knew Nick Chubb was the Nick Chubb, like the way we think about Nick Chubb entering last season,
Yeah.
was the Nick Chubb we're looking at in this exercise for this season. You knew he was going to be back to be the
Yeah.
top 2 back in football. Do they catapult into the top 10 knowing you have a healthy Nick Chubb? Is the reason they're behind Seattle, Atlanta, LA because of the uncertainty of Chubb or just because the rest of the playmakers don't add up to what
I
you
think
expect?
they'd be around 10 if he was completely healthy.
You see what I'm trying to ask? Ty?
I'd still have him behind the Bengals.
See, my problem
I'd
is
still have him behind the Rams.
the problem with me is it's not even 100% Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb was healthy, I'd still have questions because Njoku only did it. When
Well, I'm
Flacco-
not saying would they be number 1. I'm just saying
No,
would they be in
I'm
the top
just
10.
telling
Right.
you why I would be in.
Yeah.
Why I would be
And
in
all their
limbo
wide
with this.
receivers are question marks outside of
Out
Cooper.
of our coup. So
It's fair,
yeah,
it's
it's
fair.
Jerry and Njoku. I don't know what I'm gonna get with him. Like Njoku had a great season last year, but he wasn't balling like that when Deshaun was at quarterback.
That's true. That's
And
good.
Elijah Moore's a question mark.
Hey.
He's a huge question mark.
Hey. He going for 900 yards.
I actually don't
5
think it's a question mark at
touchdowns
all.
this
I think
year.
there's no question that he's not very good.
900 yards, 5 tugs.
Yeah.
Book it.
All right.
Whatever it is, a fan do
Is it 900 yards to run to the water and get water for the rest of the wide receiving crew?
All right.
Oh,
That's
Anthony.
where we at now.
Shots
harsh.
fired.
You know what?
For a guy that
y'all better pray that he don't have a good year. Y'all better pray this man don't ball out this year because I'm going to be like G. Bush.
For a guy that loves sports as much as Anthony, that
Yeah.
was like the harshest shot he's ever taken at one of you guys.
That was pretty hard.